Hey lovely ladies, it's Jessie Danson with Danson for Joy. I apologize for my voice. I've been battling a cold all week long and it just won't go away. But I've been so excited to do a pregnancy update and I'm just gonna do it even with my raspy voice. Forgive me. I'll probably be taking lots of sips as I go along. Today I'm drinking Pero. I had coffee earlier today, but this afternoon I don't want extra caffeine. So this is like a coffee substitute that my husband found a few years ago and we've repurchased several times. So it's barley, malted barley, chicory, and rye. It's a very robust flavor and I like to prepare mine with coconut sugar and cream to make it all rich and yummy. So that's what I'm drinking right now. And the reason I didn't do a first trimester twin pregnancy video was that I didn't even know we were having twins until the first trimester was over. Thankfully, all my pregnancies have been extremely low risk, no complications. So with each succeeding pregnancy, I would wait longer and longer to even go in to see my midwife. This time, I pretty much waited until the first trimester was over. And when I did go in, we used the Doppler and we're looking for the baby's heartbeat. So I got to hear that precious little whoosh whoosh, which is such a miracle. But the midwife was only looking for one heartbeat. So we found one and we were done. We scheduled the ultrasound to determine my due date. I knew I was due mid-July, but not exactly when. So we were gonna measure the baby, and find out the date. And at that ultrasound, we found out there were two babies. And if you haven't seen my video, The Biggest Surprise of My Life, that's my reaction the day we found out that we were having twins. So the first trimester was actually just typical of my normal first trimester pregnancy symptoms. I'm basically just tired. I'm so spoiled. No morning sickness, no feeling dreadful, just tired basically. This time I was doubly tired and I thought maybe there was something wrong with me, but other than just having children to care for and being overweight and having had 3 pregnancies already, the reason for my exhaustion being so severe was that we were having twins. It just took a little while for me to learn that. So the other way that this has been the hardest pregnancy is not just with the exhaustion, but with emotions. My hormones have been like crazy and all my emotions have been very intense. And I've cried a lot. Like the day I went last week to tour the hospital, I felt like I needed to do that because I've never given birth in the hospital before. It's always been at the birth center or in our own home. And I couldn't envision giving birth in the hospital when I had never even seen the inside of the hospital in that way. So I wanted Jonathan to go with me, but it didn't work out. So I just went by myself. That was not a good idea. It was like so overwhelming for me to see how different the birth was going to be, but I could not stop crying the rest of the day. So don't get me wrong, our hospital facility looks great. We're gonna have a good experience there, I'm sure, but it was just so different. And there are definitely a lot more appointments and it's just been like a lot to take in. So I've been craving simplicity in every area of my life. Simplified my schedule. I've had to cancel play dates and things like that just because with the appointments being have-to events, I need space in between all those have-to events to just be home and rest and stay on top of my priorities here. Otherwise, I get worn too thin and I'm just a mess. So in addition to needing to simplify my schedule, I've needed to simplify my home. I'm getting rid of so much stuff and it feels so good because there's just less for me to take care of and less to clean, less to put away. I read the book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, like 2 or 3 years ago, and every year I have found more and more and more that I can part with, and this year I'm just amazed at how much we're actually getting rid of. It's in preparation for the twins' arrival and making our home spacious enough to accommodate them, and it's been a really good process. I look forward to sharing some videos with you about that process and what we're doing. So the last thing I wanted to share was our dilemma with choosing the baby's names. We have always found out the gender before. This was our first time being surprised. And so by week 20, when we would find out our previous baby's genders, we would have the names picked out, whether it was a girl name or a boy name. And boy names had been no question. I've always wanted to name our firstborn son after my husband. So we never even talked about boy names. There was no need because we've only had girls and we've just been waiting for our little Jonathan to come along. Well, now we have to have 2 girl names, a boy and a girl name, and 2 boy names. So there's a need to think of a second boy name just in case we have twin boys. And that has been so hard. So we have the other name combinations already, but I keep editing our list of boy names, and then as I'm able to have time to talk to Jonathan about the list, he'll be helping with the editing and stuff, like, no, I'm not crazy about this name, we'll take it off, and what about this name, and we'll put it on. But it's just been in constant fluctuation, and I feel like we are barely close to picking a second name to go with the firstborn name of my husband, so we shall see. We did decide that we're going to keep the names a surprise until the babies are born, because that's one of the questions that people ask you in the lineup of pregnancy questions, like, when are you due? Do you know the gender? Do you have names picked out? And that name question is going to be a doozy to answer because it's threefold, and I don't want to do that over and over and over again, so I'm just going to say we're announcing the names when the babies are born. So I'm excited about the process. It's been a lot of fun, and if you have any other questions regarding my first 20 weeks of pregnancy, I love talking about all of it, so please don't hesitate to ask, and I look forward to talking to you in my next video.